Hi, welcome back, and you're very welcome if you're new. I have a really exciting haul to share with you today. I cannot wait to open these. This is my Hemlock Oak 2026 pre-order. I ordered them back in June, I think. Whether or not these are the planners that I actually use next year, I haven't finalised. And I actually just ordered another pre-order Hemlock Oak last week. But I thought I would share these anyway, and we'll do a flip through of what they look like and focus specifically on that rather than what I would use them for. So I'll open that now in a second, and then after that I have started collecting my 2026 setup stickers for the planners. So I have a small TCMC haul to share. So I got a little thank you card in the order, and they still are taking orders. If there's anything you want to get for next year, I actually am an affiliate, so I get a small commission if you use my link below, but you could also use my code and get some money off your planner. So I'll leave all that information down in the description. Oh wow, that is gorgeous. So Hemlock Oak have a weekly planner, and then you can get a minimalist version of the weekly planner, so it doesn't come with all the goal setting stuff at the start. And then they have a horizontal planner, and then a daily planner, a daily duo, so that's their daily instead of the full year together, it's split into 2 6 months. And then all those planners come with hardcover, flex covers, and then they have a new cloth cover this year. And I last year got the paper flex. This is what it looks like. This is in the Referral colour. And this year I decided to try the cloth flex, and it is a lovely feeling. It seems very durable. This has had a few knocks, to be honest, but it's held up really well. If you look how thick my one is compared to how it started, you can see it has really held up well. Now this is my first year using it, so I don't know how that'll be in the long run, how it'll hold together, but you know, because I intend to keep this for life. But yeah, I'm really impressed. So far so good. And I prefer a softer cover than a hard cover, but I feel like this is going to be a step up in durability. You know, more wipeable. Not that I'm going to like purposely spill things on it, but it just feels already like it's going to be more durable than just cardstock. So anyway, yes, this is the B5 Minimal Cloth Flex in the colour Fawn. You can only get their B5 in the Minimal weekly. You can't get it in any other option. Everything else is A5. But it comes in all 3 options: hard cover, paper cover, and cloth cover. So the paper flex comes in Charbon, which is like a dark black charcoal, Scarlet Oak, which is a very dark rich red, Referral, which is this, and Moss. The hard cover, it has the most colour options. So it comes in Woodlands, in Enchanted Forest, Charbon, Moss, Referral, Fawn, which I have, Autumnal, Scarlet Oak, Plum Grove, Wild Indigo, and then it did have a special called Witching Hour, which is like a glittery black, but it's gone now. Don't know if they'll bring them back. And then finally Blossom Field. And then the one I got, the cloth flex options, quite a lot of them are gone, and I don't know if they'll be restocked. Enchanted Forest, they don't have it anymore. Charbon is the black, they have it. Moss is a green colour, which they have. Referral, they don't have anymore, the blue one that I got last year. Fawn, they don't seem to have anymore, that's this colour. Autumnal, which is darker autumnal brown. And Scarlet Oak, they still have. So that's all your options for that. Let's take a look inside the actual planner. I still can't get over how gorgeous it is. There's nothing like a new fresh planner. It makes you itch to move into it. Anyway, the inside of it is just plain white. And then the next page, which is the glue to high part that you get in all bound books, is your title page this planner belongs to. Then you get a contents page. So that shows you your yearly planning section, and even though this is minimal, you still get pages at the start, it's just not as much. Then you get your January to December 2026, and then at the back you get your year-end review and notes. I personalise this and make it my own. I don't use all the opening spreads and closing spreads for what they're actually meant to be for, but yeah, you get them all. I link last year's setup if you're new and you haven't seen it and you want to see what I use them for. Don't know if everything will be identical next year, but it'll give you an idea and some inspiration hopefully. This next page then is your calendar spread, and you get 2026 and 2027 for the 12 months. And then you get the 2026 calendars in a horizontal spread with room to put details. So you could put a little dot, say I put a dot on the 30th of September and then a dot over here and write my birthday 30th and use it that way. I've seen people use it as a bookshelfie, and they make this a bookshelf and draw all the books in. I personally use it as a weekly spreads theme. There's lots of possibilities. And then over here you get the quarters with the dates listed and a space down below. This is where I actually track dates and important things like birthdays and stuff like that. So you get quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. This is all the same from last year. Then here you get holidays for Canada and United States. I cover this completely. I'm from Northern Ireland, so these aren't relevant for me. And then you get a graph page. Then you're into your monthly spread, and for your monthly spread you get a January overview. So what boundaries will you set for yourself this month? List 3 ways that you can carve out time for self-care. What intentions do you have this month? And what milestones are you focusing on? What habit do you want to cultivate this month, and are there any barriers? You get a little habit tracker and a frequency and reward, and then a blank graph page. And I completely make this my own. I don't use any of this for what it's intended for. And then you get the monthly overview. And I love the fact in this that there is graph printed in each little box. That's a huge plus for me. And then you're into your actual weekly spreads. So you get the monthly calendar over on the corner, your dates are up at the top, and any holidays are written in like a lighter grey above it. I love the fact that it's got graph all over it. It makes it so easy to line up stickers and keep them straight. Each day has 6 to 10, and then you get a space at the bottom and a sidebar. Down at the bottom it says what week it is. Week 2 this is, a page number, and what the dates are, so January 5th to the 11th for this page. You also get the moon phases, by the way, which means nothing to me, but that's something you're into tracking. It's there. And then at the very end of the month you get a January review, which again I use for something completely different. So its intention is write down 3 memorable moments this month. What gave you energy this month and what drained you? So that's a plus for the energy and a minus for what drained you. A lesson, thought or growth moment for this month, and then another blank page. And then you're into your February overview, and it repeats all over again. Then you get to the very back, and after your December review then you get your year-end review. Again, just repeating myself, I don't use this for what it says here. Identify 3 memories from the last 12 months that you want to cherish. Who or what are you grateful for in the last year and why? And you have 4 different boxes. What are you proud of in the last year? Write down 5 positive things about yourself from the last year. What vision do you see for yourself in the future? What are some ways you can get yourself closer to that vision? And then you get 2, 4, 31 pages. So I wouldn't include this one, to be honest, because it has the glue too high thing. So I would probably glue this together and then you would get 30 notes pages, which is absolutely fantastic. That has significantly increased. Last year we got 16, well 17 if you include the glued together page. But that is crazy. That is plenty of extra room to be able to add all your additional spreads, yearly overviews and stuff like that. It has gold foiling on the front with the little Hemlock Oak logo and 2026. And then on the back it says Hemlock Oak in gold. I'm so happy with this. Cannot wait to get setting it up. Next, here we have the Daily Duo. So last year I actually purchased a full year, but it just got so chunky that it was driving me insane. So this was actually a year-long journal, and look at it. So if you add another 6 months onto that, it would have really bugged me and took away from the enjoyment of using the planner. So I did a bit of surgery and changed it so that my journal actually ends on the 30th of June. And I took the rest of it away and then just had the notes pages at the back. And I had actually also purchased the 2 half years, thankfully, because I couldn't decide at the start of the year whether I wanted to use a full year or separate it. And I was in such a habit of always having it in one book that I couldn't take myself away from always having it in one book. But yeah, halfway through the year I thought, no, I can't do this. So this is now my July to December journal. And it works so much better for me because yes, I would love it if it was all in one book. It's just not practical for me with how chunky it gets and how I was kind of taking the enjoyment of using it away from me. The options again, you can get them in hardcover, cloth flex and paper flex. It did come in Enchanted Forest, but it is sold out. And then Charbon only has a few left. Anyway, yeah, so that's the cloth. And then the hardcover for the Duo. Okay, let's take a look at what I chose. Get these two open. So this is autumnal. So I'll show you the difference between fawn and autumnal. So fawn is this gorgeous cool tone light brown, and this is a warmer, darker brown, but it's absolutely stunning. So you get Hemlock Oak 2026 Daily, whereas because I got the minimal probably, this just says 2026, but that doesn't bother me. And then down at the bottom, this one is January to June, and on the back it says Hemlock Oak. And then your second half, July to December, and it's all the same. Same thing in the inside, blank page. Then you have your title page, and then you get your contents page, just like we had with the B5 minimal. And thankfully, the Daily Duo option is just minimal because I wouldn't want all the goal setting stuff. They save their goal setting stuff for their weeklies if you don't choose minimal. But because this already has enough pages, probably why they did it. But it's good for me because it saves me having to be honest, think of uses for a whole load of pages that I don't need. So anyway, yeah, this is the contents page. Then you get your 2026, 2027, and then you have your 2026, same thing as the B5 minimal. And again, smaller version of Q1, Q2. So this kind of shows you what it would look like if you chose an A5 planner. This would be how your opening would be. Q3, Q4, and then holidays and a blank page. Then you're straight into the monthly. So you don't get the January overview and you don't get the January review at the end, which for me is perfect because I have my weekly planner. I don't need that twice. So this isn't used for that purpose. So you're solely getting your monthly spread, and then you're into your daily spreads. So you get the moon phases, the date up here, focus, intentions, schedule, and today, which I don't use it like that, but that's how it's laid out anyway. And I love the way it's a full graph. It makes writing on it and using it so much easier. And it goes always double-sided. So you're going to get your month and then it's going to go into 2 days. So January 1st starts on a Thursday. It starts on the 1st. But if you get to the end, so the Saturday is the 31st. So instead of it then being blank here or something, so that the 1st is in February, it just puts Sunday the 1st here. So that way you have your double monthly spread and then it just goes straight into Monday, Tuesday. so you don't get blank pages in between essentially. And then that's what it's like the whole way through till you get to the very back. If you get it in one full page, or one full book I mean, you still get these mid-year notes, but this part is just then continued on. So you get a note section at the back, and it has one, that's shorter. The mid section last year we had 5, we got 5. Let me see, this one isn't messed up at the back because I didn't glue stuff, so how many did we get? We got 7 in this one. That's just like a weird ending page that I've glued together that I didn't need, and didn't need that. But yeah, we definitely got more last year anyway, so I'll have to bear that in mind for my journaling, that I don't get as much in the back. Anyway, so then this is the other part, and when you split it in 2, it doesn't repeat these, which worked out fine for me because I didn't need them twice. All this isn't there in the start of your second one. If you notice, it just goes straight, it has the blank pages and then a blank page and a graph page, and then it goes straight into July, which was perfect for me, but they must have added something in, so let's see. So we have 2026, yeah, so you get the 2026 months, you get the second half of the year, and then you get Q3 and Q4. But if you wanted to glue that in here, say, you couldn't really, because it's double-sided, so I suppose you could do it with a bit of washi tape and glue it like that and do like a tip-in, but then you would have to cut it to fit because it's bigger than the actual pages. I suppose it's good that they gave you the option, but I'll not be using these. I don't need it to repeat itself. In order to print in Canada and conserve waste, the Daily Geo is identical to our 2026 daily planner but split in 2. This means that book 2 does not include yearly and quarterly views. Therefore, we are including these complimentary tip-in sheets for free to either adhere into your planner or store loosely for reference during the year. Happy planning. So I suppose it's kind of them to think of that because we didn't get that last year. So yeah, and it's just the exact same thing as the other one, but then at the back you get a year-end review here. So identify 5 memories from the last year that you want to cherish. Who or what you are grateful for in the last year and why. Have your values changed in the last year and has their importance shift? Year-end review. What are you proud of in the last year? Identify 3 challenges you faced in the last year and how did you grow from them and what did you learn? Write down 3 positive things about yourself from the last year. What vision do you see for yourself in the future? What do you want to change? What are 3 steps that can get you closer to that vision? Use the space below to create a bucket list of things you want to do, places you want to see, and people you want to spend time with in the future. And then you have your note pages. You get more in this half, but definitely not as much as last year. So, nice and shiny and new and fresh, and split in 2 because I learned that worked better for me. Let's take a quick look at my TCMC order. So this is the journal card that comes with it. She doesn't do it as in January you get a card, in February you get a card. She does it as a first come, first serve sort of thing, whereas she makes a certain amount and then as soon as they run out, she switches to a new one. So because I've made 2 orders close together, I already have this little one, but it's really cute, dreaming about stationery. And then our freebie here, chapter 10, a little peeking emoji, peeking around a bush, catch up. These I would love for them to be released in the store. That'd be really handy. You could use it for a journal catch up or a planner catch up. And then lock into a task. And then I got the last version of these, and that's gonna have a scary moment of flying time. I don't know if they all were in different positions, but last time it was more of the emoji. You know, you can see its wee body and its wee arms, whereas this one, it's just the head at the side. So they are slightly updated. And you get 2 of each one. So I got warm, There's a few options that I didn't get if you want to go and have a look, but I thought these would be perfect for the kind of colours that I got in my planner. You'll see a bit of a theme, to be honest. And then these are the sky ones, so white and blue, and they're gorgeous. These ones have silver foil and these ones have like a bronzy gold foil. And then I got some tab colours. I love these tabs, they've really held up well. I got them on my journals and I have them here. It's the first year I've actually used tabs and I'm really impressed by them, and they're handy to have and they just look really nice, because I was really worried about putting them on and then regretting it. Like they would look really tattered by the end of the year, or they would get in the way or whatever, but they didn't, so I'm going to do it again. So yeah, this is earth tones and you get January to December, then you get a yearly, monthly, weekly, daily, because these are intended for the Hobonichi cousin, and then the little pencil, which I use for the notes section. And then we have gunmetal, and then milky coffee, and French lavender. That's what's on my main planner. I alternated between gunmetal and French lavender. I'm not going to do that again, I'm going to change it up, but I just couldn't resist these two colours. They're just perfect. So that's the 4 that I got, and again there's lots of other options. We're really spoiled for choice. Okay, and then I bought a bunch of other seals that she released, and this is with the intention of setting up a new ink swatch journal. It was like she read my mind, because I really want to start a collection of different inks, because I'm getting really into fountain pens. I have my fountain pens over here, this one over here. And yeah, I want to collect inks and swatch them, and I actually have a pre-order coming. I have a little notebook that I want to do it in. When I saw this, I thought perfect. So this is fountain pens gold, and the seals are just extra special. They're not vinyl, like a vinyl sticker would be, but they're like a plasticky type material, and they're called seals because the idea is that you use them to seal an envelope, but I don't use them for that. I use them in my planners and journals. And then this is ink bottle seals, and the colours of these are stunning, and I'm absolutely using them in my ink swatch book. They have a gorgeous holographic-y silver edging. To be honest, I might go back and get more to use in my journal if there still is some. But anyway, and then we have Stationery Warm, and these are just for a journal spread. They're really beautiful. And Markers Warm. Both of these have like a bronzy gold foil. I love the fact that it isn't like a yellow gold. I'm more of a fan of the brassy type gold. And then we have Markers again in pastel, whereas this is warm, and they have a silver foiling. And the fountain pens that we had in gold at the start, I got in silver as well. And these little tips are just perfect. So yeah, I'll get some spreads probably in my journal out of these ones, or maybe use them in like my pen swatch book, and then these I'll probably use for my ink swatch book. Okay, and then I got some sticker seals, and some of these are just for fun because they were a new release, and others are particularly for the 2026 setup, like this for example. This is Typewriter Font 2026. And it's on a clear background, so when you take that white off, you can stick it on top of anything and it won't clash. And then I got 2 of them. And then 1 of these. This one has little mushrooms and rocks and leaves around it with a little peeking emoji. We have a little emoji with a little cup of, I was going to say coffee, but I think that's actually tea, on a little log, little emoji peeking around a rock with mushrooms and leaves, and a little emoji hugging an acorn. So that was a small little haul to get started on my 2026 setups. At the end of this month, she's releasing her 2026 monthly kit collection, and I'll probably order a few more bits and bobs for 2026. maybe some more of these if there's some left. And I'll just keep collecting then right the way through until I have finally decided what I'm going to use 100% and I'm all ready to set up. So make sure you subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss any of that content coming up. I'll be doing a what planners and journals I'm using in 2026 and why video. And I'll be doing my setups for all my planners and journals, which is such an exciting time of year. It cheers me up amongst all the dark nights and coldness to be able to do that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that today and thank you so much for watching and take care and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!